Prepare to have your perception of Stanley Kubrick's chilling masterpiece, The Shining, completely transformed. This horror classic conceals astonishing secrets that will alter your interpretation of every scene. From a child actor blissfully unaware he was part of a horror film to a director who found humor as his sets went up in flames, these 10 bizarre untold facts uncover the captivating madness behind one of cinema's finest achievements. Let's plunge into the depths of this iconic film. Fact number 1. The child star watched a kid's version first. 5-year-old Danny Lloyd was completely unaware that he was starring in a horror film. Kubrick told him they were filming a heartwarming family drama about a winter vacation at a beautiful hotel. Throughout an entire year of filming, the cast and crew maintained this elaborate ruse to preserve the child's innocence. But here's where it gets wild. When The Shining terrified audiences worldwide, the studio encountered a unique challenge. How could they show a child his own performance in such a chilling film? Their clever solution was to produce a special 10-minute kiddie version, a sanitized version of The Shining for kids. Lloyd didn't see the real film until he was around 10 or 11. He felt it was like watching a home movie, filled with his behind-the-scenes memories. The star of one of cinema's most terrifying films was completely insulated from his own horror masterpiece. Fact number 2. 127 takes that pushed Shelley Duvall to the edge. Here's a behind-the-scenes nightmare that makes the movie look tame. The iconic baseball bat scene, where Duvall backs up the stairs in terror, that scene required an astonishing 127 takes, earning a Guinness World Record for the most takes of a dialogue scene ever filmed. Most directors might stop after a dozen takes for such a charged moment, but Kubrick's obsession with perfection meant there was no limit. Take 20, take 50, take 100. Duvall had to scream, cry, and shake with genuine fear week after week. Her hands bled from gripping the bat so tightly, and she suffered a stress-related illness that lingered for months after shooting wrapped. The terror etched on her face isn't just acting. It's real trauma inflicted by a director's relentless pursuit of authenticity. Fact number 3. Jack Nicholson's improvised line confused the crew. The most famous line in The Shining, "Here's Johnny," was nothing short of improvisation that nobody understood. Kubrick's script called for generic, threatening dialogue as Jack's axe broke through the bathroom door. But Nicholson channeled something deeper, improvising Ed McMahon's Tonight Show catchphrase in a moment of manic inspiration. They were filming at British studios with an entirely British crew. When Nicholson delivered that iconic line, the entire crew stared blankly. Nobody got the reference. British workers thought Nicholson had just invented random words. Kubrick kept the take anyway, creating what the American Film Institute later named one of cinema's greatest quotes, from a line that meant absolutely nothing to half the people who heard it. Fact number 4. Kubrick may have obsessively typed 500 pages himself. The reveal of Jack's manuscript, hundreds of pages reading all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, hides a bizarre secret about Kubrick's obsessions. A standard movie procedure would be simple: assign the props department, make photocopies, and be done in an hour. But Kubrick used his personal typewriter instead. Nobody knows for certain who typed those pages, but film historians believe Kubrick did it all himself. We're talking about 500 pages of the same sentence, with deliberate variations, spacing errors, and human mistakes that suggest someone typing in obsessive fatigue. Each page in the film shows different layouts, proving they weren't simple photocopies. The director, who demanded 127 takes, probably found meditative pleasure in typing identical words for weeks. It's the perfect metaphor for his filmmaking process: beautiful and obsessive madness. Fact number 5. Kubrick's sets burned down and became Indiana Jones' snake pit. The Colorado Lounge, where Jack does his obsessive typing, required absolutely perfect lighting to look like a snowy day outside the windows. We're talking about 700,000 watts of light per window. That's enough electricity to power a small town, all focused on making fake sunlight look real through hotel windows. But here's where Hollywood physics meets disaster. All that intense heat from the massive lighting rigs caused the entire Colorado Lounge set to catch fire and burn down. Fortunately, Kubrick had already completed filming all his scenes there. The twisted part? Photographers captured Kubrick laughing maniacally in front of the burning wreckage, seemingly delighted by the destruction. They rebuilt the set with a higher ceiling, and Steven Spielberg later used that same space as the snake-filled Well of the Soul's tomb in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Fact number 6. Stephen King called his own adaptation all wrong. Here's a rare case where the original author became his own adaptation's biggest critic. Stephen King wrote an entire screenplay for The Shining, expecting collaboration with the legendary Kubrick. After all, who knows the characters better than their creator? The author was excited to see his vision translated to the screen. But Kubrick never even read King's script. He called King's writing weak and hired his own screenwriter instead. When King finally saw the finished film, he was devastated. Everything he'd envisioned had been changed or ignored. King publicly declared Jack Nicholson's casting a complete mistake. Audiences could see Jack was crazy from scene 1, destroying the story's gradual descent into madness. King was so frustrated that he eventually made his own 1997 TV version out of spite. Fact number 6. Stephen King called his own adaptation all wrong. Here's a rare case where the original author became his own adaptation's biggest critic. Stephen King wrote an entire screenplay for The Shining, expecting collaboration with the legendary Kubrick. After all, who knows the characters better than their creator? The author was excited to see his vision translated to the screen. But Kubrick never even read King's script. He called King's writing weak and hired his own screenwriter instead. When King finally saw the finished film, he was devastated. Everything he'd envisioned had been changed or ignored. King publicly declared Jack Nicholson's casting a complete mistake. Audiences could see Jack was crazy from scene 1, destroying the story's gradual descent into madness. King was so frustrated that he eventually made his own 1997 TV version out of spite. Fact number 8. The hotel was designed to drive you subconsciously insane. Observant viewers have long sensed something amiss with the Overlook Hotel's layout, and now we understand why. Kubrick intentionally crafted an impossible building to distort your perception. Windows appear where there should be solid walls. Hallways lead to nowhere, and Ullman's office features an exterior window despite being entirely surrounded by other rooms. Film enthusiasts have dedicated decades to creating detailed maps in an attempt to decipher the hotel's geography, yet every effort falls short. The interior spaces cannot physically exist within the exterior structure depicted. Basic architectural principles are disregarded in every scene. Kubrick's producer later confirmed that this was a deliberate choice. They weaponized architecture to manipulate audience psychology. Your mind instinctively recognizes something is fundamentally off, even if you can't pinpoint why. It's filmmaking as psychological warfare, and you've been its target all along. Fact number 9. The maze scene required 900 tons of salt for fake snow. The final hedge maze chase needed perfect winter conditions, but real snow was impossible. It would melt under the massive film lights and disappear between the multiple takes Kubrick always demanded. The enormous outdoor maze required snow coverage that looked completely natural but stayed consistent for weeks of filming. Their solution was industrial-scale madness. 900 tons of salt mixed with crushed styrofoam to create the most expensive fake snow in cinema history. We're talking about nearly 1,000 tons of salt for a single scene. Enough material to de-ice an entire city's worth of roads during a blizzard. Every hedge, every path, every surface needed convincing snow that actors could run through safely during multiple camera setups. Fact number 10. The film became the most expensive family home movie ever. Major Hollywood films typically use industry professionals, experienced producers, established designers, proven composers. Kubrick could have hired anyone in the business for his ambitious horror epic. Instead, he turned The Shining into the ultimate family business, creating the most expensive home movie ever made. His brother-in-law Jan Harlan produced the film. Wife Christiane handled design work. Daughter Vivian composed music and filmed the famous behind-the-scenes documentary that captured her father's obsessive methods. Kubrick trusted relatives over Hollywood professionals, maintaining complete creative control through what was essentially high-budget nepotism. And there you have it. 10 facts about The Shining that reveal the terrifying truth behind Kubrick's masterpiece. From child actors living in manufactured innocence to directors finding inspiration in destruction, Kubrick's masterpiece was built on obsession masquerading as art. Which fact disturbed you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed these twisted behind-the-scenes stories, hit that subscribe button for more tales.